Welcome to the next unit of our Beginner's Introduction to Programming using Python. In this unit, we will be discussing programming with functions. So functions are essentially components, packages, units that allows us to put all of our code into one collective unit, whereby instead of having to always be writing the pieces individually, we simply use the unit name as a means of representing all the code. So let's look at what we'll be covering in this unit. We'll be looking at basic functions. Of course, we will look at functions under the simulator using Python Tutor. We will then look at functions and arguments, followed by functions and return values. Finally, we'll put the concepts together where we see a use case of using functions to solve a meaningful problem. And of course, that will be followed up by testing your learning. Let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to start off over here on the editor. A function is created by using the keyword def. Okay? Once we have the keyword def, we must give our function a name. Okay? So let's say we want our function to do something like printing a message. We would give our function the name greeting. Okay? Notice that I use small letters. The convention is when you're creating a function, you give it a lowercase name. Now, if the function has a name that is made up of 2 or more words, then we use what is called camel case, whereby I would start off small, and for each word, the first letter becomes capital. So if I had something like greeting function example, it would look something like this. Alright, starting off with a small letter, and every subsequent word, the first letter is capitalized. Okay, this is what I call camel case. Alright, but for single word functions, lowercase is what we use. Now, once we have the name of the function, and of course you can choose whatever name you want, but we tend to use names that have meaning. Excuse me. Okay, so we follow the name with an open and a close parenthesis. Right? So if you recall, in the previous units, we have been using functions such as the len function, such as the sum function. And notice they're functions because they had parentheses, and inside you had to put something. Alright, an argument. Now, our first type of functions will not carry any of those arguments. Okay, so we end the function by simply putting a colon, and when we press enter, we now write the body of the function. Let's say we want this function to do something trivial like printing a greeting. So we could say print good day mate. Okay, and then maybe I could say good day sir. Okay, and maybe I could also say print hello my lady. Okay, So notice all the code that I write inside my function. There are 4 spaces, indented 4 spaces, which means that all of this code belong to the function. Okay, and there's a word we use for that. We say that they have the same scope. Okay, meaning that they're together. Okay, so this is a function, and believe it or not, this function actually works. So your question might be, well, how do I know that it works? Well, whenever we create a function, then outside of the function, we can test it. Okay, so let's test greeting. And notice the way we test a function is by calling it. Okay, so we call a function to test it. And how do we call a function? We write the name of the function followed by an open and a close parentheses. Okay, and that's all there is to it. So let's test this function. Okay, and notice the function does everything that we told it should do. Alright, now one thing you could have done, and let me do it, if I take this last hello my lady line and I put it out here. Okay, let's see what now gets printed. Okay, hello my lady, good day mate, good day sir. Now you might be thinking they print the same thing. Well, yes they do, but one of them actually is different than the other. And for that, for you to see that, I will put this here, and then I will put another print statement such as dashes line. Okay, and I'll say print. Okay, so it says dash 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 dash. Okay, so we have hello my lady, good day mate, and good day sir. So let's try this again one more time. Okay, let me clear just to show you what's happening. So play. Okay, so notice dash 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 is printed first, hello my lady is printed next, and then we get what is inside the function. So why is that? Well, it turns out that these 2 lines of code, lines 9 and lines 10, is not a part of the actual function. They're outside. The only 2 lines that belong to this function are line 6 and line 7. So when I execute the function by executing line 15, right, then the function would have printed these 2 lines. But before I ever get to line 15, I have to do line 9 and line 10. And that's the reason. So the point I'm trying to make is that if you want these 4 things to be executed when you call the function, then these 4 things should be inside along with the other print statements inside the function. So now if we run play, let's notice where the dash dash gets printed. Notice it gets printed as line 3. Previously, it got printed first. So something to keep in mind, and we will look at this more closely in the next video, where we will use Python Tutor to examine how a function actually gets called. I'll see you in that video.